Well, hello everyone. I see many of you have already made yourselves comfortable in our little humble abode. Thank you so much for joining me yet again for another end of the month Q&A live streams. One of my favorite things to do because it's just nice to sit down and chat with members of the community, supporters, contributors, all of you wonderful people. Lots of highs. From the likes of Alex, Ashuri, BB115B, Nils Olem, Kitsune Windsor, Disturbed709, Geralt of Africa, Stephen McDevitt, and so on and so forth. Well, so if you've been participating in these, then you'll know how this goes. Just ask a few questions in the chat. I'll get to them as soon as I can. While you guys get prepped on that, I guess I'll head over to the... Oh, hello, Leshy Morph. Hi, how you doing? So yeah, before I get to your questions, I'll look at the ones that were left by people who couldn't make it to the stream. They left the questions in the Patreon comments, so I'll read those out first. There are not a lot of them this time. So we got Prismat Dragoon. I have a question that may actually be a proposition. Ever thought about having someone translate Polish articles for you? Me and my friend see you do research for some info there, especially regarding CD Projekt Red matters. We could do translations for you if you would be interested. So you know, yeah, I didn't know you could translate Polish, but now that I do, if I need translation for anything Polish, I'll certainly. I would be glad to reach out. Google Translate tends to do a pretty good job these days, but at the same time, you can never be too sure about whether they translate something in a funky way. So, yeah, next time I see like a Polish article that is worth dissecting, I'll direct it to you, and I would love for you to contribute in that regard. That'd be very helpful. So I appreciate the offer. And, you know, if anyone wants to help translate other languages besides, you know, English, Spanish, and Korean, hell, that'd be fantastic. But most of the articles that I investigate, they are in English. A lot of the times, other people translate them and then post what they translated on the internet. So it's not something that I'll require too often, but you know, when I do, I'll be sure to let you know. So thank you for the heads up there. We got Cedric D. Delage. Hey Yong, you told me to remind you to write your top 10 video games of all time list last Q&A for this one. I got a friend's birthday today, so I may not be able to be there for the Q&A, but I do hope so. If not, have a great stream. Well, I totally forgot to do that, and this reminder came in today, and I have not been, you know, I've uploaded like 2 videos this morning, so I've not been available for most of today. I apologize that I haven't gotten to that yet. It completely slipped my mind. June is the busiest month for any game journalist, really. Any content creator who deals in video game news and stuff like that. So it's just been crazy. I will try to do that next time. Send me a reminder like a couple days in advance so I can like hack this down. I don't want to say anything definite right now because I feel like I have to sit down, look at all my favorite games, and then really spend some time sorting them out. But obviously the likes of Ocarina of Time, Zelda Breath of the Wild, God of War, Metal Gear Solid 3, those are like high up there. Let's see, StarCraft, I have very fond memories of. Super Smash Brothers, Melee might be up there as well for me. The Soul Reaver games, like the Legacy of Kain stuff, that was like my jam when I was a kid, when I was growing up. What else? There's just a lot. There's so many games that I love. Elder Scrolls series. I think I remember Oblivion. I don't know if it's like I would qualify Oblivion as the best game in the Elder Scrolls series, but it's the game that I had the most fond memories with. I know a lot of people say Morrowind is the best game. I don't know. I had trouble getting into Morrowind because the combat is so weird and janky and so dependent on dice rolls, essentially. In Oblivion, I thought the quests were way more interesting than in Skyrim. Even though it had more of a traditional fantasy look, it just there was something about the quest lines that were really compelling to me in Oblivion. Even if, you know, there's some shoddy aspects to it, lots of bugs and whatever, but mods fixed a lot of that for me. I loved modding the hell out of Oblivion. And just Oblivion, it is, yeah, I would say that's also up there as one of my top games of all time. Again, not saying that it's necessarily the best game in the series, but it's just the game in the series that I personally have the most fond memories with. And I think for a lot of people, what constitutes their top, 10 video games of all time has to do with memories and nostalgia. I think that plays a part because there's no way to objectively say these are the top 10 games of all time. It has to come from your own experiences. So, yeah, based on my experiences, the Zelda games like Ocarina of Time and Breath of the Wild, the Metal Gear games, Soul Reaver games, God of War, all these titles, they're up there, but I'm probably missing a ton. I did bring up a tab where I Googled top games of all time and see what Google gives me. Resident Evil 4 is up, that's definitely a very worthy title. The Last of Us is definitely an amazing game. I don't know if, I don't know, it's hard for me to say whether all this stuff is top 10 material, but it's definitely some of the best games I've ever played. Mass Effect 1 and 2, very fond memories of those. So, I could honestly go on forever talking about all these amazing games. But, yeah, I'll leave it at that for now. But honestly, my list is probably not going to be very shocking, Zelda and Metal Gear being up there, I mean, that's par for the course for me, I suppose. So, with that out of the way, I guess I will now delve into questions in the chat. We've already got a couple here. Let's see, what do we got? Well, this is a simple one. Leshy Morph replied by saying, "I'm doing good. How about yourself, Young?" I'm doing great. Honestly, June 2018 it's been one of the best months of my life. E3 2018 was fantastic. I had a really bad time at E3 2017 because the whole event was so disorganized, and I was disorganized. I didn't really know what the hell I was doing, but this year I scheduled everything out. I met up with fans, saw some awesome games behind the scenes, played some games behind the scenes, met Hideo Kojima out of the blue, which was unexpected. I figured I'd have to wait, another year or two before that happened, but we had a proper encounter, and it was just, Kojima's someone I admire not just for his prowess as a game developer, but also because just his story is very inspiring. A lot of people basically try to tell him, you can't do it, you can't succeed as a game developer, you can't, he, against all adversity, sort of proved everyone wrong. And that's one of the things I admire most about this guy. It's very inspiring, what he went through to get to where he is. How much, every time somebody told him no, that's just not how, the way things work. That's not how you do things. That's not what you should be doing. He followed his heart, and it's paid off significantly. And yeah, and I think that's an important lesson to just, sometimes you gotta follow your heart and see where that takes you. And even when people tell you no, or that this is a stupid idea, or if you believe in something, maybe you should go for it. And anyway, I'm digressing. Yeah, met Kojima, met fans, reached 500,000 subscribers, reached 500 patrons. I mean, like a lot of just things happen in June. It was crazy. So I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. And also watching the World Cup. I don't know if you guys are watching World Cup. It's been pretty insane. I'm a big fan of soccer, or as I like to call it, football, you know, because you use your foot to kick the ball. Never understood why American football is called football instead of egg hand or something. Anyway, yeah, I've been watching that. That's been a lot of fun. Just a lot of unexpected developments. Korea 2-0 against Germany. Hell yeah. That's, I mean, the hype was real for that. That was wholly unexpected. You know, Korea didn't move up the World Cup. Like they didn't move up to the next round, but I'm very proud of them because they made history by eliminating Germany and becoming the first Asian country to ever defeat Germany in the World Cup, I believe. So, and they saved Mexico, you know, from sure doom. So I love hearing all the stories about the Mexico celebrating Korea's victory and all that. That's really fun. And you know, yeah, Korea took down the previous World Cup champion, so that's pretty awesome. Anyway, but yeah, I'm doing good is the short answer to your very simple question that I totally over-explained. Okay, Stephen McDevitt, what games from E3 are you looking forward to aside from Death Stranding, Cyberpunk 2077, Spider-Man, and Last of Us Part 2? Mine is Spyro, Reignited Trilogy, and Devil May Cry 5. Devil May Cry 5 is definitely one of them. If I had to choose one, I would say Ghost of Tsushima looks pretty freaking amazing. A lot of the feudal Japan games tend to be based on, like, some of the... There's like fantasy elements and magic and all these, all this other fluff sort of thrown in there. Ghost of Tsushima is purely just about samurais. It's very grounded in how it presents samurais and how it honors the katana and all these different things. So, Ghost of Tsushima, I would say, is one of the games that surprised me most at the event. One that I really, really want to play. But yeah, I mean, Cyberpunk 2077 just kind of completely shook the landscape of E3 for me. I was not expecting the demo to impress me that much. It's game of the show for me. I mean, I don't know if I've already said this or not. It's game of the show. And I've also said this before. You have to see it to believe it. It's hard to explain in words why it was so impressive. All I can say is that it really was truly impressive. And it just blew my socks off. In a way, I was expecting to be disappointed. I was like, how can this game possibly live up to my ridiculous expectations? This game we haven't seen in like 5 years. It's bound to make me go, you know, oh, this is fine, I guess, but I don't know if it's, if it has everything that I wanted. It had most of what I wanted and more, so that's pretty amazing. Can't rule that one out. So if I actually, you know, but outside of that list that you provided, saying like aside from these games, Death Stranding, Cyberpunk 2077, Spider-Man, and Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, I feel like there was another one, but I don't know. My brain's kind of dead right now. Jump Force looks really interesting. It's like Tekken, but with characters from popular shonen manga and anime, so Goku and, you know, Dragon Ball, Naruto, One Piece, and Death Note was sort of hinted at one point. Just all these characters, they come together and then they fight each other. The graphics are bizarre because it's like hyper realistic, but with like the anime proportions. So it looks very weird, but I got my hands on it a little bit, and it plays fine. It plays really well. I was just smashing buttons. I, you know, couldn't learn all the technicalities behind the fighting mechanics, but it felt good to play. So that one looks really interesting. What else? I mean, they showed a lot of stuff, and I'm sure there's plenty of. You know what? Let's do this. Top E3 games 2018. Let's see what games were listed by some websites and see if that agrees with my own opinions. But yeah, oh yeah, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, of course. I love Super Smash Bros. And at a glance, it does look like it's basically Smash Bros. For Wii U, but with all the characters from past games added to it. But I've seen some videos about like explaining a lot of the mechanical differences, and it's just a lot faster now. The game encourages a lot more aggression, and it's reminiscent of Melee, actually. It's like if Melee and Smash Brothers for Switch had a baby, but also like brought in all the characters from past games and made the ultimate compilation of Smash Brothers content in series history. So it actually, I'm really excited for it, actually. Let's see. Oh, Resident Evil 2 Remake. That's a big one. I didn't get my hands on that game, but I've seen some videos, and it looks, the characters' faces look weird. They don't look like the Leon and Claire that I remember, but in terms of just the work that they did in realizing, like re-realizing Resident Evil 2 with modern graphics, it looks utterly incredible. Resident Evil 2 is my favorite game in the Resident Evil series. So for me, this right here could be a dream come true, depending on whether it ends up living up to expectations. Oh, Resident Evil 2 definitely is. I'm pretty sure it's on my top 10 lists, or my top 10 games list. So, you know, that's something worth noting. Definitely have fond memories of this game. Replayed it like a million times as a kid. Knew all the puzzles, all the level design inside out, basically. I don't remember much about it now, because it's been very, very long. It's been a very long time. But I remember playing this game on PC. The controls were wonky, but I just love Resident Evil 2. And the way they have Claire's path and Leon's path, and the way you see from both perspectives, like you have to play from both perspectives to really understand how everything's connected, and it's really cool. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Let's see. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, whatever. I don't know. I've kind of I've become sort of I don't know, bored by the Assassin's Creed series. Nothing against it. It's just that it doesn't compel me as much as it used to, because it just releases too often. It's just and Odyssey looks fantastic with the Greece setting, but it you know, I don't know. It seems like an extrapolation of Assassin's Creed Origins. It's got a very similar look and feel to it, but it could be a great game. Who knows? I'm just not very interested in it. Beyond Good and Evil 2 is a great could be really interesting. A little worried about how drastically different it is from the first game. Much more like open-ended, and that could be a good thing or that could be a bad thing. It has like No Man's Sky style space and world traversal, which again could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how they execute that. Yeah, I guess that's it. Fallout 76 is a prominent game, but I'm not like hyped about it. I'm curious to see how it turns out. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice from Software. Looks really cool. I mean, From Software, obviously, they're best known for their work with the Soul series and the and Bloodborne. Yeah, I guess that's. Oh god, there's a second page. Not really looking forward to Anthem. I saw it. I saw a more extensive demo of it behind closed doors, I suppose. It looks mechanically, it looks phenomenal, but it just looks just so. It's just like you're just shooting shit and flying around and shooting some more shit and then going to from point A to point B, rinse and repeat, point B to point C, shoot some more stuff. I didn't see much in the way of narrative interaction, narrative substance, really, and that part really concerns me. And with BioWare confirming that there won't be like romances or traditional dialogue options, like they keep insisting that this is just traditional BioWare but with multiplayer on it. And I'm like, the more I hear about the game, the more I'm like, no, it's not. Like you're saying one thing, but then you're announcing things, and the stuff you say about the game doesn't like confirm that in any way. So I'm just concerned. But graphically, the game looks beautiful. Mechanically, the game seems to play very well. But will it have the substance that one would expect from a BioWare game is the question. That's it, yeah. All right. So to answer your question, Stephen, there you go. That's the long version. I don't think there is a way to compress that into a short version. Geralt of Africa, do you think the next gen starts in 2019 or 2020? Definitely not 2019. I would definitely say 2020. I mean, Microsoft already teased the next Xbox during their E3 2018 press conference. Yeah, I'm assuming we might hear more rumors or even an announcement in 2019, but in terms of when next-gen consoles will release, pretty confident it's 2020. The current-gen consoles still have a lot of juice left in them, especially on the PlayStation front. Still got a lot of exclusives they haven't released yet. And, yeah. I'm honestly in no rush to upgrade to next-gen. 2020 seems like the sweet spot. That's basically 2.5 years from now, like fall 2020. Leshy Morph, are you familiar with the YouTuber Review Tech USA? Yeah, I've seen a couple of his videos. I don't watch his stuff very often, but I've seen like his I've seen his name going around, and I've watched one or two or a couple of his videos. Seems like a cool guy. I don't know. I don't really. I'm not too familiar with his work, but he seems to cover gaming-related stuff, much like I do. So, yeah, I'm kind of familiar with him. Okay, what else we got? Hello, Vidya Bros. He says, "Hey, Yong, how are you? By the way, your beautiful hair is growing back." Yes, it is. It's you know. Like this stuff, this part right here was like shaved, basically very short. Now it's like it's kind of like sticking out a little bit, and you know, hair here it's definitely longer than it used to be. And thank you for calling my hair beautiful. The person who cut my hair, I'm very grateful to that person. They did a great job. And you know, for those who like the long hair, it'll grow back. So there you go. Ashuri, as someone who has never played a Metal Gear game before, which would you recommend I start with? That's a tough one. Definitely don't start with 5, because that'll wreck your brains. You will have no idea what the fuck is going on if you start with 5. I'd say 3 is a good place to start. Like, it's that perfect middle ground of the gameplay being modern enough and with the story being comprehensible enough, because 3 is sort of the origin story. It's the earliest in the Metal Gear timeline. So you really don't need to know about Solid Snake and all the, you know, the Les Enfants Terribles, like the Solid and Liquid, and yeah, 3 is a good place to start. You really don't need much background to understand 3's narrative. If you do play the games in order, so, you know, Metal Gear 1, 2, Metal Gear Solid 2, and then Metal Gear Solid 3, you will get a kick out of some of the references, some of the, like, allusions to future events and stuff like that. So there is value there. But yeah, MGS3 is a good place to start. Also, if you buy MGS3, it does come, if you buy Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater Subsistence, it does come with Metal Gear 1 and 2 for the MSX. Like it's in the game itself. You like you browse the menus and you can just find them there, and that's emulated for you. So if you're interested in really delving into the Metal Gear lore, start with 3, and then move up to Metal Gear 1, and then 2, and then see if you like all that and go from there. If not Metal Gear Solid 3, you might as well just play the series in order. Maybe start from Metal Gear Solid, or I don't know, because like Metal Gear 1 is very simplistic. I feel like it's not an accurate game to judge how the, like future entries, which are so much more sophisticated. So if you're fine with like going retro for a bit and playing sort of the 2D Metal Gear games, the old Metal Gear games, then I would start with Metal Gear 1, move up to 2, and then go to Solid, Solid 2, Solid 3, and play it in the appropriate order. But if you're concerned about like old gameplay sort of turning you off, then try 3. Also, Metal Gear Solid 1 is a classic. It hasn't aged super well, but it's still very fun. It's still, I don't know, it's still just fun. The stealth is more arcadey in nature. There's less like you can't, I don't think you can, like you can't hold people up. The stealth mechanics are a little more primitive. When enemies see you, their reaction is like immediate. There's no like in Metal Gear Solid 2 where you can like shoot their radio, and then they can't call for backup and stuff like that. You can't do that in Metal Gear Solid. But you can see the evolution of the series when you start from the chronological order in which they were released. So, depends on what you're looking for. But, yeah. Man, it's hard to answer. Definitely, okay, I'll say this. Definitely not 5, 4, Peace Walker, 2. Yeah. Yeah, so you have a choice between Metal Gear 1, Metal Gear Solid, or Metal Gear Solid 3. Those are 3 good places to start, depending on what you want to get out of this sort of dive into the Metal Gear series. So yeah, I hope that answered your question. Leshy Morph, are there any film adaptation of video games that impressed you and why? Interesting question. Hold on, let me Google video game to film adaptations, just so I can get a general idea of what we have here. I feel like the answer is probably no. Not one adaptation has truly impressed me. Some of them might have been like decent, passable, but none of them blew me away, I don't think. Yeah, I'm looking through all these. I mean, there's stuff like Warcraft, Prince of Persia, Tomb Raider, Hitman, Resident Evil. Oh my god, the Resident Evil ones. There's a Silent Hill one. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a Tekken adaptation. There's that goddamn awful Dragon Ball. Oh, god. That was just so bad. Got the super cheesy Street Fighter movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Oh god. Oh, actually, yeah, this is a good one. The Ace Attorney movie that they made in Japan. It's from the same guy. The director is the same guy who directed, what was it? 13 Assassins. And you know, the movie is ridiculous. Like the hairstyles, the way they try to like accurately match the art from the games, it's ridiculous. But it's really well realized. I think it's a pretty decent adaptation. That I actually had a good amount of fun watching. And Ace Attorney is the kind of series that you don't take. Like, no, I don't want to say you don't take it seriously because there's some pretty serious moments there, but it's like you can, there's a lot of exaggerated elements to it. And so the ridiculousness of the movie works in tandem with that. It works in tandem with some of the ridiculous aspects of the games. So, yeah, Ace Attorney movie, the Japanese Ace Attorney movie, I'm pretty sure it's the only Ace Attorney live action movie that exists. I liked it a lot. What else? I'd say I have fond memories of Mortal Kombat, the first one. I wouldn't say it's like a good adaptation. It's just a really fun movie, and I grew up playing Mortal Kombat, and I love characters like Scorpion, and Sub-Zero, and Liu Kang, and all these guys, and seeing them kind of on screen. As a kid, it was just really fun. And I don't know what I would think of the movie if I watched it like right here, right now. I might see the flaws in it, but I feel like that's just it's a cheesy but fun movie that a lot of people appreciate still today. Now the sequel, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, can go fuck itself. It's just oh man. And it's funny thing is, it's one of those movies that I watched a lot as a kid, like Mortal Kombat Annihilation, and I'm thinking to myself, like, why did I do that? I guess on some level I was entertained by it, but it's such a bad movie. The first one though, I think it's choice. So yeah, that's all I'll say for now on that matter. Devin Fox, the fact that English is a second language for you is still amazing to me, since I never would have thought your first language was Spanish. When did you learn English, and how hard was it to learn? Well, English is actually my third language. I learned Spanish first, and then Korean with, speaking to my parents, and then English was something that I learned when I was in like throughout first and second grade, I think. Is because in third grade is when my parents they transferred me to a foreign American school in Venezuela. So everyone in that American school in Venezuela, they all spoke English. So at that point I was forced to learn the language, sort of trial by fire. But before that, in second grade, I was tutored by just a tutor, someone who would come to my house, and they would, do their best to teach me and my brother English. It was probably pretty hard, and I didn't want to do it. My parents said I was like, God, why are you making me do this? It's just so boring. I hate it. And my parents, pretty sure multiple times, said, you're gonna thank us for this later down the line. Boy, were they right, because without English, I wouldn't be able to live in the US in the way that I can now. And I wouldn't be able to YouTube in the way that I can now. Like, I would probably have a weird accent if I learned English too late. But I think I managed to pick it up early enough, like from second grade onwards, and then like from third grade onwards, it was just, again, trial by fire. Everyone spoke English. And so by the time I moved to the USA, from third grade to eighth grade, I stayed in that American school. And then I came to the US in, like, when I started high school, ninth grade. So 5 years straight of, me being forced to speak English with all these people, that helped me hone my English. And it is what it is now. Yeah, so it was hard, and people, kids made fun of me when I was in high school because my English was probably worse. Like when I started in third grade. Yeah, it was tough, definitely. But eventually, I just kind of picked it up. I don't even really know exactly how that happened. It's just when you're imbued in a culture, when you're forced to speak a language, your brain, the way it adapts, it's surprisingly efficient in how it processes that information, and yeah, it's crazy. Now, when I did come to the US, I did have to learn slangs. You know, a lot of things that I didn't know, a lot of words where I thought meant one thing, meant something else entirely. So yeah, it's pretty much that story. So tutoring, second grade, pretty hard. Third grade, first year in American high school, struggled. And then as years went along, the English became more fluent. And then in America, obviously, I mean, English is everywhere. So now I speak English pretty damn well, I'd like to think. Even if I do mispronounce some words, as a lot of people like to point out in the comment section. But you know what? For English being my third language, I would say I'm doing all right. So whatever, I'll mispronounce a few words here and there. Let's see, Disturbed 702. According to Nintendo's new president, they are strongly considering a new fully dedicated handheld successor to the 3DS. What's your opinion on that? My opinion is, why? Like, you've already got that product in the market. It's called the Nintendo Switch. I mean, it's not technically the successor to 3DS. Obviously, it's a home console portable hybrid, but it gets the job done. It's just it seems redundant to want to release a 3DS successor alongside the already portable Switch. Unless they're planning to do something that sets it apart from other portable experiences. I don't know. It seems like a terrible idea to me. But I don't know what Nintendo's ideas are. They're always thinking crazy. Like, that's just trademark Nintendo, to think outside the box, sometimes for better, other times for worse. So my opinion overall is, why? Why do that when you've already got Switch killing it? Filling that dedicated portable console void. I don't know, unless, are they planning to do like a Nintendo phone or something? Like, I don't know. But good question, Disturbed 702. Next up. We have Sonic Shuffler. If there was one now defunct game company you could bring back, what would it be? For me, it would be Eurocom. Honestly, I miss the old Rare. I know Rare is technically not defunct. It's a part of Microsoft. But, you know, it's this alien inhabiting someone else's corpse and skin, basically. Like, it's not the same Rare that we knew and loved. The old Rare made such incredible games. I mean, on the N64, they made magic. So it is a shame to see what Microsoft has turned that studio into. I mean, I remember for a long period of time they were confined to making Kinect games and shit like that. And I think since then they've kind of lost their edge. I'm pretty sure it's not even the same people anymore. Sea of Thieves was highly disappointing, you know, ambitious in scope, but ultimately it failed to realize its ambition. So I'd say the old Rare, I'd like to see them come back somehow. I don't think that's gonna happen, but one can dream. Kitsune Windsor, I don't know what to ask. Do you like card games? Yeah, I actually do. I like trading card games. When I was younger, I used to play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. That was fun. Now I think the rules have gotten too weird and not complicated, but just, like, dumb. so I stopped playing that at some point. And then I used to play a lot of Magic the Gathering, and I still am a pretty big fan of Magic the Gathering. I picked up this new card game from the makers of Magic the Gathering called Netrunner, and it is a cyberpunk-themed trading card game that I recommend all of you to look into. It's very interesting. It's one player plays the corporation, the other player plays the Netrunner. The corporation has to execute like agendas, and then the Netrunner has to like hack in and then discover those agendas and expose them. So it's asymmetrical. So the corporation, it's about bluffing, it's about keeping things hidden, and then executing the stuff before the Netrunner gets to it. And then the Netrunner's job is to infiltrate and find and seek and expose. Very cool game. So I'd say that's one of my favorite ones. Geralt of Rivia, what's up with Konami and all the Snake support lately? Him appearing in Smash Brothers and Bomberman. Good question. I don't know. Do they have something brewing in the background? I have no idea, but it is good to see Snake return. It is good to hear David Hayter return. And the Bomberman stuff, I don't really care much for. But it's cool, I guess. But as far as I'm concerned, the Metal Gear series, it's still, I mean, a walking corpse. It's basically one of the zombies from Metal Gear Survive. And until they prove, like, until the developers or Konami prove otherwise, and until they, I don't know, just express some semblance of giving a shit about this series beyond the exploitation of its name for things like pachinko and shit like that, I'm gonna be apprehensive about everything Metal Gear related they do, because Metal Gear Survive, very very questionable game, very indicative of where their priorities lie. It is worth noting, though, that with David Hayter coming back for his role, it does seem like Konami is very open with working with him again for whatever future Metal Gear titles they might have planned. So, you know, if there is like a Snake Eater remake, it'd be cool to see David Hayter return, though I don't know that they really need to redo all the lines. So I hope, yeah, if they do like a remake, I hope they keep the original dialogue, because it's fine. No need to pull a Twin Snakes. Leslie Morph, is there a period of history you'd say is your favorite? You know, I'm not much of a history buff. History was always my worst subject in school, so I'm not gonna, like, give you a very insightful answer. I mean, feudal Japan has always compelled me in some way. Just the samurais, the ninja, I don't like stuff like that. The ninjas and all these different aspects of ancient Japan. That's always been compelling to me. Feudal Japan is just, I'm always down for that, which is why I'm so excited about Ghosts of Tsushima. What else? I feel like that's all I can think of right now. Yeah, maybe it's sort of a typical bland answer, but I can't think of anything else that compels me quite like feudal Japan does. And you know, there's like World War II and stuff like that, but I don't know. I've seen enough of that. I don't know. I've stopped caring about World War II in terms of a narrative setting. Obviously, it's history-wise, it's a very pivotal moment in human history, very horrific, and it's always worth educating people about what happened there and hoping that we don't repeat those mistakes, because war sucks. I think we can all agree on that. War really sucks. Maybe I'll have to think about that one. I feel like there's another period of history that really compels me. I guess ancient Greece is really cool, like with the Spartans and all that. That's really interesting, and the Greek gods and the lore behind that. So that's, yeah, it's another one I'd say. Let's see, let's see. Crap, the scrolling on this chat is weird. Okay, there we go. Leslie Morph also asks, assuming that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate will have a third-party newcomer, who would you like to see? I don't know. Here's the thing, Ultimate has everyone, so I don't really know. There's probably someone out there that I can, that I would love to, like Goku? Right, I think you're referring to, I mean, I don't know if you mean first-party characters or third-party. Third-party wise, I fantasize about Goku being one of the playable characters. It'll probably never happen. Or, I don't know, who knows? Honestly, who knows? I mean, Cloud managed to make it in there, but Goku is primarily an anime character, not like a video game character, and I think Smash Brothers wants to celebrate video game characters, so I'm not gonna have high hopes there. But that would be interesting. God, I don't know, what else? I can't think of any right now, because I'm pleased with Ultimate's cast. It's like 60 plus characters or something. It's insane. Yeah. I can't think of anything right now. Like Nintendo-wise, Nintendo franchises-wise, it's pretty much all covered. We got Ridley from Metroid, which is cool. Yeah, that's all I got, honestly. I don't know, my mind is drawing a blank on that one. Geralt of Rivia, remember the Troll Metal Gear collection back in 2014 that ended up being a clothing line? What's your favorite Kojima troll? I mean, PT has to be one of my favorite things he's ever done. Because I remember like sitting at the Sony press conference or watching it live and seeing this thing called PT developed by this studio that I've never heard of and just flat out dismissing it. I'm like, okay, this is weird. I'll check it out later. And then suddenly headlines start appearing everywhere about how this is actually Silent Hills developed by Kojima and Guillermo del Toro. So that whole roller coaster was pretty insane, and then people delved into the game trying to discover secrets. Just one of the most beautifully executed PR campaigns ever. Like, he gave us a free game that in its own right is very interesting and compelling and terrifying, just to tell us, oh, we're working on a new Silent Hill game and it's going to be star-studded. So it's not like a troll, I guess, but it's fantastic. It's what he did there. I mean, the Phantom Pain stuff is pretty memorable, obviously, with what he did at the VGA Awards with Moby Dick Studios and things like that. I mean, that was a ruse that didn't last very long. People immediately picked up on how the character in the trailer looked like Snake and all that. So, yeah. I feel like there's other stuff that I'm just not remembering right now. Like something smaller scale. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff I could draw from, but right now that's all I remember. What happens if I Google that? Kojima trolls. Yeah, I mean, the PT stuff comes up a lot, which I would have to agree with. Anyway, that's that. What do we have? Cedric Dubois? I butchered the shit out of that, I apologize. He says, hi Yong, I was able to make it after all. So glad you've been able to join us. Thanks for tuning in and ask away. I'd be happy to answer a question. And here it is. Do you think one day you could do a stream with SkillUp? I'm a patron to both of you guys, and I love your interactions on the E3 video. I thought it would be great. Yeah, I'm not ruling anything out. I met up with the Layman Gaming guys, and they were very cool people. And you know, we live very far apart, though, is the problem. They're in Australia. I'm here in the U.S. So, but I don't know. Like, I'd be open to it, sure. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna go out of my way to pursue that per se, because I'm plenty busy as it is. But hey, I'm totally open to it. Love what they do. Love their work. They're very cool people. Let's see. Vidya Bros, you're welcome. I love your long hair, actually. Sadly, I got a haircut today. No! Actually, well, I don't know. I haven't seen your haircut, but I'm sure it's fine, right? So, nothing wrong with haircuts. I got one. I think it turned out alright. It'll grow back anyway. By the way, do you mind if I play Mega Man 03 while listening to this? Hell, I would say that's the ideal way to listen to this. By all means, play Mega Man 03. Awesome game series. Very hard games. The Mega Man Zero, the action platformers, but just fantastic in their art design, the lore, the gameplay, everything. It's all just, oh, yeah, awesome. Awesome series. Great choice. 0212, isn't there a specific timeline to follow with the Metal Gear games? Yes, there is. It would be, oh god, let's see if I can get this right. Metal Gear 1, well, no, if we're starting from, like, yeah, the earliest game, yeah, so like, in terms of release, obviously it starts with Metal Gear 1, but if you're talking about timeline, it would be Metal Gear Solid 3, followed by Peace Walker, followed by, hold on, Metal Gear Solid 3, Portable Ops, if, you know, you consider that canon. It, like, I don't know, it's shaky on whether it's full canon or half canon or whatever. So Solid 3, Portable Ops, Peace Walker, Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, Phantom Pain, Metal Gear 1, Metal Gear 2, Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 4. I believe that's everything. That's how it goes. So that's the order you want to play it in if you intend on tackling the series by lore year, by lore timeline. So that's worth keeping in mind if you want to delve into this series. Cedric Dubois Delage, also, what is your order of Fallout games from worst to best? Interesting. I haven't really fully completed Fallout 1 and 2, so I don't think I can really comment on that. But in terms of the 3D games, I'd have to go with New Vegas 3 and 4. Like from best to worst. Yeah. I enjoyed New Vegas quite a bit. With its branching story paths, all the factions, which is really well done. 3, I think, was a great groundwork for that transition from isometric Fallout to first-person, third-person, 3D Fallout. I know many people consider Fallout 2 to be the best game in the series, but, and I've played some of Fallout 2, and I was really into it. I don't know, petered out at some point for, I don't know, I'm sure work or something. But what little I've played was really compelling. Love the art style, just a lot. I love a lot about it, but I don't want to judge a game before completing it. And then there's 76, which I'm still very iffy about. Basically, Fallout 4. Now, I don't want to say it's a Fallout 4 spin-off. It's like a prequel to all the games. Like it's not long after the nukes go off. You're one of the first to go out and start reclaiming the land after the the nuclear bombs hit. But yeah, the multiplayer aspect, they haven't been thorough about the details on that. Like, they vaguely hinted at things, but I still feel like I don't quite know exactly how this game will play, which is a problem when the game's coming out in November of this year. So we'll see how I feel about that, but it does use Fallout 4's engine, clearly repurposed with new assets and redone for online. So, and they said, 4 times the world size of Fallout 4, and all this stuff. Like 16 times the details rendered on screen at the same time compared to Fallout 4. What I'm concerned about is that apparently every character you meet in 76 will be a player character, so it's almost as if you're not going to be interacting with characters who are going to give you quests or something. So I don't know what the ultimate goal of the game is. I don't know how, like, Todd Howard keeps saying that there is a story there and that, like any other Bethesda game, the narrative plays an important part. I just don't quite get how they intend to express that narrative. I don't know. Anyway, long story short, New Vegas 3 and 4 in that order is my final answer for now. Let's see. Lots of people here talking about movies. I'm assuming from that question about video game to movie adaptations. Devin Fox says, did you hear that a Call of Duty movie, or Call of Duty is getting its own movie? Not really expecting anything good from it. It seems very much like a garbage cash grab right now. Yeah, I don't get it either. I think, I agree, it is a cash grab. They're using the popular name to sell a movie. And I mean, I'm not going to judge something before I see it, but I don't know. The history of video game to film adaptations has not been kind. I cannot imagine Call of Duty being any good. But I could be wrong. Oh yeah, I heard about Jim Carrey being cast as or in talks to be cast as Dr. Robotnik for Sonic the Hedgehog. That could be a good fit. Who knows? This is a reminder from Stephen McDevitt. Hello, Stephen. YBEC says your English is superb, Yong. Good Metal Gear Solid 3 reference. Pretty good. He also says more like Yonglish. Gee, haven't heard that one before. Let's see. What else do we have? So we are almost hitting the hour mark, so I'll answer a few more questions before calling it a day. 0212 asks, any YouTubers that you would like to collaborate with? Love the stuff with Layman Gaming Skill Up. I don't know. I don't really pursue collaborations. If somebody approaches with me, or somebody approaches me with a proposal, I'll consider it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really. I'm too focused on what I'm doing right now to think about that. Not saying that I'm close-minded about collaborations, just it's not my priority right now. And yeah, I'm just focused on my own work. So, I mean, depends on who approaches me and whether they actually approach me. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd say like maybe Jim Sterling, but even then, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Would our styles mesh? We talk about very similar things, but he's, I don't know, more flamboyant about the way he expresses the news. I'm more sort of more low-key. What else? Yeah, can't think of anyone else really. I don't really watch a lot of YouTubers, actually. I watch some, but not many. And I don't tend to watch people who already do the stuff that I do, say for a couple like Jim Sterling, or because I don't know, it just yeah, I just want to focus on what I'm doing for now. Maybe once I get bigger, and maybe once I get to 1 million, I can like start resting a little easier and look into meeting up with other folks. Nils Olam, favorite conventional firearm in games? I don't know. I don't really like. I'm not much of a guns guy, so I don't really know. Let's see. I mean, the AK-47 is a classic. I guess that's like everyone's gun of choice. Any silenced pistols are just really satisfying. Just and then the dude goes down. Assassinating people that way in games is really fun. So anything like that. Although I guess sniper rifles, there's something about snipers that are really satisfying. Just killing people from afar in games. But yeah, I mean, I can't really say much more than that. I cannot give you a specific gun beyond AK-47, which everyone knows about, and the like AR-15 or whatever. By the way, a heads up, my username is pronounced Leshy Morph, not Leslie Morph, lol. Yeah, I totally misread that. Yeah, it does say Leshy Morph. Good, good heads up. Thank you. Appreciate the correction. Sorry about that. Leshy Morph. Let's see. All right, a couple more questions. 0212, on that note, your thoughts on Battlefield 5? I don't know. I haven't played it. I do like that it doesn't have loot boxes. There are some impressions going out today, I think, from like some beta, or is it an alpha right now? I think it's an alpha. So I don't know. I'm just not that excited for it, really. I mean, there's some controversy surrounding like its portrayal of World War II, with the fact that like women are in it. I think for most people, what they're upset about is like some of the ridiculous elements featured in the trailers, like somebody hold like a katana. I saw at one point, like stuff like that. It's just weird and really takes you out of the setting. And I do on some level understand those complaints, where this doesn't really look like World War II. It looks like a Michael Bay sort of weird take on the setting. But I don't know, we'll see, because I feel like that footage was multiplayer. If they can like sort of bring things down a bit for the single player campaign, the war stories or whatever, if they can make those appropriately subtle, appropriately, I don't want to say like historically accurate, but historically representative, then maybe people are willing to look past the multiplayer craziness, the multiplayer cosmetic craziness that this game seems to be adamant about including. But I don't know. I don't have too many thoughts on Battlefield 5. I'm not that excited for it, honestly. I just don't care much for games like that. Young, serious question from Alex. If PT would be developed not by Kojima and Del Toro, would it get such hype, attention, and success? I don't think it would get. No, it wouldn't. Like the reason PT works is it's because it's so Kojima. Like PT is a playable teaser to Silent Hills, and it was this whole troll job. Like that's a big part of that's a big part of the PT experience. Like if somebody were just to release PT as a game without the reveal at the end of this being a playable teaser, if this were just like a game on its own, people would be like, this is weird, but like where this came out of nowhere. Like I don't know, it just wouldn't get attention. And it wouldn't be quite as renowned as it is. It's because of it is such a Kojima. Like PT is so quintessential Kojima. That's why it works, because it does come from Kojima. So yeah, yeah. No doubt it wouldn't have been as hyped, as successful, if Kojima's name and methods weren't attached to it. Let's see. What other questions are left? I think I'm pretty much done with most of them. I'll answer like 2 more. Lashi Morph, when Cuphead was first announced, were you a fan of the old cartoons that it was inspired by? And did they get you hyped for the game? I wouldn't say I was like a fan of that. Well, like in the sense that I was an enthusiast of that, but when I do see cartoons of that era, I kind of go, wow, that's, I don't know, it's really cool. Like, it's really cool how that's evolved. And for Cuphead to just take inspiration from that and bring that into interactive format, like that style, it's insane. It's one of the coolest things ever. It's retro melded with modern technology, and it's amazing what they pulled off with it. Devin Fox, how would you feel if we started calling you Yong Yab? Not particularly good is the short. Yeah, no, let's yeah, no. Let's not do that. No. Let's just stick to the names we have become accustomed to. How about that? Anyway, I think that's a good place to end it for today. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. This has been fun as usual. I hope you had as much fun as I did. I hope the answers that I provided were fulfilling enough. Some stuff I couldn't answer as extensively as I would have liked to, because my brain is like dying, imploding right now because I'm pretty tired. But this is a nice getaway from just hashing out videos. Look forward to more. If you have any other questions that I didn't answer here, feel free to reach out to me on Patreon or Discord. And I'll see you guys in July. End of July. So July 31st, we'll do this again. We'll hang out again. And yeah, that's that. I'll see you guys next time. Yong out.